Welcome to today's webinar brought to you by Delphix, Couchbase, Datavail, and Actian. I'm Stephen Fagg, Director at Database Trends and Applications and Unisphere Research. I will be your host for today's broadcast. Our presentation today is titled Cloud Migration Best Practices, Top Strategies, and Tools. Before we begin, I want to explain how you can be a part of this broadcast. There will be a question and answer session. If you have a question during the presentation, just type it into the question box provided and click on the submit button. We'll try to get to as many questions as possible, but if your question has not been selected during the show, you will receive an email response. Plus, all viewers today will be entered for a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card just for participating. Now, to introduce our speakers for today, we have Alberto Sigismondi, Lead Product Manager, Continuous Data Platform at Delphix; Jeff Morris, Vice President of Product and Solutions Marketing at Couchbase; JP Chen, Senior Director and Global Practice Lead, SQL Server Services at Datavail; and James McClymans, VP of Cloud Operations at Actian. Now I'm going to pass the event over to Alberto to get us started. Welcome to the broadcast, Alberto.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. All right, let's talk about data agility in the cloud. Here we go. So there are several reasons why organizations choose to migrate their applications to the cloud, but the primary reason is typically to take advantage of the benefits that the cloud computing offers, right? Such as scalability, the ability to scale up or down quickly in response to changing business needs. Flexibility is a big one. The public cloud offers the ability to rapidly provision new resources and services, especially when you compare flexibility with on-premises. Reliability, public cloud offers typically offer high levels of reliability and availability. And of course, security. Security when it comes to the infrastructure itself. Something that unfortunately many organizations don't think much is cost. When it comes to cost, there is always a debate between what we see between the CIO side of the house and the CTO side of the house, especially for organizations with strong development and testing environments and practices. The CIO obviously is trying also to do a lot more with less, right? So infrastructure gets costly. Why infrastructure in the cloud get costly? Well, because first of all, data keeps growing. I know we have been saying this for years, but it is a reality. Why to hide it? Actually, nowadays, data growth is something you cannot arguably stop because many of your operations beyond development and testing, I'm talking about AI, machine learning, business analytics, right? Business really relies on data, so you cannot stop the trend. And on the other hand, specifically for development and testing, is that data sprawl actually keeps, as well growing and growing because as developers and testers move into more modern development best practice, agile, DevOps, and so on, they need, constant access to numerous data, especially if we talk about databases and copies, everything they need in order to don't slow down, right, their pipeline. On the CTO side, is really about, budget reduction, that you CIO are asking me to just hurting my development. We cannot be as agile as we wanted to be. We came to the cloud for that reason. And now all of a sudden we're trying to cut corners in the wrong places. So you add security to all of that, right? To the fact that in average for each production database, a large organization, this is average public numbers, needs about 13 copies of that database in non-production, across non-production. Add security to that. All of that data that leaves production must be secured. And I cannot say this enough, right? You cannot move data out of your production networks into especially lower environments without being secured. And what I mean secured is seriously data masking, maintaining the integrity of those databases for developers, testers, data scientists, and so on is critical. However, there are ways to mask that data to ensure that whatever happens, the pressure is off. So to summarize, data, we believe that data basically is the last automation frontier. Especially in development and testing, we have succeeded in automating code, testing practices, like workflows. Everything is fully automated today, but when it comes to move terabytes and terabytes of data in an agile way and secure way from production to dozens of non-production environments, that we are still trying to figure that out. So add to all of these that nowadays, especially since the early this year and actually late last year, I believe it's safe to say all of us have been asked in one way or the other that we have to do more with less, right? So how can I keep investing? How can I keep moving my organization, my applications forward with less? And that's the challenge here. So what I did was, we can understand and try to learn from the best organizations that are doing, running non-production environments very efficiently in the cloud out there. What is it that they are doing? Well, first, they're using a lot of what I call alternative, cheaper storage. Let's define it: object storage. Object storage is becoming almost a must in every large enterprise organization, especially for non-production environments. Number two, you have to be able to pay for performance on demand. Nowadays, really is not needed to have cloud instances or use cloud storage that is top-notch and keep it like that for 365 days a year, when actually you are using or leveraging or needing performance only half of that, right? So, but you have those resources measured to the top, just thinking about the worst case, and you pay for that year round. There are ways actually to tune that based on your needs. Similarly, but slightly different, is the ability to reduce or actually completely eliminate idle compute spend. So again, there are moments in time during a day, during a week, month, or quarter, or even entire years, where your applications in non-production are not consuming resources. So they are sitting there idle on. That's a waste. Nowadays, there are enough tools out there that allows you actually to shut down or even destroy those instances and then redeploy them when needed in a very agile way. And a big part of that is the famous storage over allocation. We all love that, right? I'm setting my database. I think it will grow 20% per year for 5 years. And all of a sudden, I pay, any of the cloud vendors, 3 years of storage I'm not actually using. And that's typically happening with EBS storage type, right? Like block storage. With object storage, situation is much better because you pay as you go. That's, I'll refer it to the first recommendation on the top. And finally, something dear, of course, and near to me in Delphix is virtualize and mask. At the end of the day, anything that you can virtualize when it comes to applications, which we all do today. But again, the hardest part is virtualizing data, and masking that data before leaves production is a must today, because you could not be finding the relationship between data masking, and saving costs in infrastructure. But the reality is that it is, right? What happens if you get hacked, you get ransomware, you get any of these problems that we are all actually targets today, and you don't have the data secured? Well, that's reflected in a big cost. So I want to spend a couple of minutes of my time on how we do it, right? Delphix is a company that basically virtualizes and masks data for non-production environments with a specific target on development and testing. We are capable actually to run all non-production databases. Seriously, we don't care about the vendor of the database, from Oracle. Couchbase is here today with us, right? We can run all of that from object storage today in any of the large public cloud vendors successfully. And we do that thanks to a piece of innovation that we developed in-house that we call the data cache, which is a cache based not on memory, but on block storage. So we're capable to put all of your large databases on object storage, just cache the pieces of the database that are communicating or interacting with your target non-production applications and put them on these data cache to secure, number one, performance, and number two, to allow you to reduce infrastructure costs. In the last minute that I have, I just want to show you a quick example. This is a real example of one of our so many customers in large enterprise. The column on the left is basically how much they were paying, in this case, Azure, on a year for one of our largest servers and databases, which was about 500 terabytes in managed disks. That's the blue part. And the red part is what I referred before as over allocation, right? They were spending almost $340,000 in storage they were practically not using. As soon as you move all of that to object storage, you can actually see how much you can save by also dynamically increasing or shrinking the data cache I mentioned before so that you can pay for the performance you need. You need awesome performance. You can bring that data cache to 100%. You'll pay a little more, but still save. And for all of the periods of the year when that application doesn't need to run at 100%, you just drop it, to as low as 5% to obtain your savings. That was it for me for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alberto. It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker today, Jeff Morris, Vice President of Product and Solutions Marketing at Couchbase. Welcome to the broadcast, Jeff.
Thanks, Stephen. Great to be here and great to be talking about Couchbase Capella, a database as a service. I'll give you a sense of who we are. We're a distributed SQL++ database as a service. We support really high performance storage, clustering, replication for what we call modern or premium experience kinds of applications. Those that come from the cloud, go through the edge, operate on mobile devices, etc. We're publicly traded right now, about 700 employees, etc. So the first kind of thing I want to set, and I'll reinforce what Alberto was just saying, is when you look at, let's say, the magic quadrant for cloud database systems, one of the recommendations that Gartner makes is, when you're looking at migrating to the cloud, right, avoid picking products because you fall in love with a particular feature, right? If it's valuable, then we all have it. But what they also say is what you should also avoid is look for vendors that have either the equivalent, but really look for ultimately price performance of the system you're going to adopt. And in our minds, right, architecture is what drives your price performance, especially in the cloud. So one of the reasons, or the 4 reasons why customers come to us is, number one, help them boost the performance of failing applications or slowing applications. And we saw a lot of these sets of requirements evolve over the last couple of years. They want to dramatically increase the flexibility of the application, especially their ability to adopt and new capabilities and accelerate their delivery of these applications. They need mobile support. They need IoT and edge support, and do this without breaking the bank. Keep my overall cloud costs low. Now, I've got examples of this, like who's using this. Your 2 out of 3 credit card accounts on the planet are managed through FICO's Falcon system. That's a Couchbase application. It has less than a millisecond response time for when it's checking for whether you've got a fraudulent activity or not. Amadeus really dramatically improved their look-to-book activity of when now that you're starting to travel again. They're handling over 20 million operations per second and afford no downtime with Couchbase. Your LinkedIn feed is managed inside of Couchbase, and the City at Sea application at Carnival and Princess Cruise Lines uses a device that you wear, basically a medallion that you wear, married up to 15,000 sensors on every ship. And that's making sure that it's creating a great experience for you. It remembers, that your children like French toast, or that you like a Bloody Mary at brunch every day. And all of these are designed to deliver these really killer experiences for you and your user constituencies. But I like what Alberto said a minute ago, is where he was talking about some of the cloud challenges that we see are things like data sprawl. You're building these great microservices applications, and you're using a particular design strategy of polyglot persistence, right, where you're using exactly the right database for exactly the right operation. You need a Redis or Memcached for caching. You need a document store for flexibility. You need relational databases for transactions. You need search, Elasticsearch for full text search, things like that, right? Well, that's kind of the inherent best practice design right now. But what that creates is a massive amount of database sprawl or activity sprawl. And I'll show you what that looks like when you really look at the in this case, an AWS-based design, where you've got lots of different containers running microservices. You've got lots of different operations services inside of Amazon, and you've got 5 different data stores that are either replicating or duplicating a lot of data here. So my proposal for you is to stop doing that, right? We know that from a historical perspective, from scientific experimentation, and just the way technology evolves, that technology tends to collapse upon itself and converge. This is what happened to your iPhone. It used to be a watch, a phone, a PDA, and a camera, and now it's just one thing. Well, that's happening in the database space. So you can have now an integrated caching system that's accessible via key value access for really high speed operations, but marry that up with the flexibility of a JSON document store. And you can have transactionality in SQL operations that you know how to use inside of that same database to do those core transactional reliability activities. You can do geographic search. You can do full text search. You could do analytics on live data. You can do change data capture and eventing on the same data, and then synchronize it out to your mobile systems. That's the fundamental converged idea, or the multi-model access idea that Couchbase brings you. So the core capabilities of our system is, one, it's really fast. Remember, it's the origin story of Couchbase. It was the merger of 2 teams, the team from Memcached and the team from CouchDB, from Couch One. And they put the best ideas of both, in-memory speed and flexibility of a JSON document store, make it distributed and massively scalable. And that's what we've done. And then we added relational capabilities, schema-like capabilities, SQL query syntax, I'll show you in a second, search, analytics, etc. But really what you end up getting here is a really fast system that's highly affordable, that's really versatile to support whatever kinds of capabilities you want to put in your applications. And like I said, it's as easy as SQL. So when I say easy as SQL, here's what I mean. On the left-hand side is SQL 92, typical relational SQL. In the middle is my SQL++. That's just SQL for JSON. And on the right-hand side is the Mongo query language as an example of what you would have to program in order to do the same functionality. And so you enjoy all of the syntaxing lexicon of SQL in SQL++. You get to do joins. You can do joins on collections. You can do joins on documents. You get to do subqueries. You can nest objects in the JSON document. You can nest arrays in the document. And then it supports distributed ACID transactions. We have a patent for that. We have patents for cost-based optimization of JSON documents. You get user-defined functions. You get parallel processing analytics all at the same time, all using the same query language that you already know. So when I talk about, what's the effect of using Couchbase in this kind of environment, is you're going to enjoy faster release cycles because you're actually not managing as much stuff. You're going to have a significantly less duplication and data sprawl. What Alberto was just referring to also is you don't need to have all of these different specific clusters of data for the caching, so your caching in Redis or your documents in Mongo or your search in Elastic. All of those things can go away and be consolidated into one system. It'll scale more easily. It's a simplified design and therefore it's less complex and easier to maintain, ultimately helping you drive lower costs of operations and lower infrastructure because, as Gartner said, price performance is the thing. So why would you choose Couchbase Capella as this vehicle? Well, one, it's fully managed. It's fully managed by Couchbase. It's available on all three clouds. It gives you really superior performance, high availability, and disaster recovery all built in. We have more capabilities in your typical NoSQL database. We have enterprise-grade security and services and QA to drive down your risk, help management efforts, overall lower your TCO. But you don't have to believe me, right? I talk to my customers all the time, and you know what? 57% of my customers said that they were able to reduce their infrastructure costs by half when switching to Couchbase. So the advantages is, you enjoy operational expense instead of capital expense if you're going from a data center into the cloud. It's a single platform with less licensing complexity, less hardware complexity or instance complexity. It is a pay-as-you-go kind of system, as Alberto was mentioning a minute ago, and it's elastically scalable. You can scale your resourcing up or down. You can scale the services that we offer up or down, and dollar for dollar, it's a price performance winner. So you don't have to take my word for it. Go try it out. Go check it out. We have a white paper available of how to optimize your applications and modernize them. We have resources as to why you would choose a NoSQL system over other systems. We have trials of Couchbase Capella available for free for 30 days. And we've got a playground where you can test out your code or see what the other capabilities of the environment happen to be, all directly in that Capella experience. So as I conclude, really, the key thing that we're trying to convey is, I can help you reduce complexity in the cloud, manage your overall cost of operations, and give you more capabilities than you've had before. My customer from BroadJump, Phil Lapercio, said, it's kind of the trifecta of value. I get more speed, more features at a lower cost. So that's really all your goal in strategy in migrating to the cloud. So, Stephen, that's my prepared remarks. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Okay, I'm going to introduce our next speaker for today. We have JP Chen, Senior Director and Global Practice Lead at SQL Server Services at Datavail. Welcome to the broadcast, JP.
Thank you, Stephen. Hi, everyone. Did you know that 94% of the enterprises are already using some form of cloud services? And cloud spending is expected to grow at more than 6 times the rate of general IT spending through 2023. In the next 10 minutes, we're going to discuss how you can harness the power of cloud migration for databases to propel your business forward. Hello again, everyone. My name is JP Chen, and I'm the Senior Director for SQL Server Practice from Datavail. I'm really fortunate to have the privilege to work with 200 plus SQL DBAs in the US and India, supporting 250 plus customers. Even if you have 0 or 25 SQL Server DBAs, or if you have 1 or 1,000 plus SQL Server instances, our team can help you in supporting your SQL Server environment 24/7, maximizing uptime, and also minimizing outages. Just a brief intro about Datavail. We are one of the biggest database service support provider in North America. In addition to SQL Server, we also support other database platforms such as MySQL, PostgreSQL, MongoDB, DB2, and Oracle. We have been in business for 16 plus years, 8 plus years of cloud support, and our team consists of 100 plus cloud essays and engineers. Some of the positive outcomes include 700 plus customers and 200,000 databases managed and 150 plus cloud migrations. Our discussion today will cover the following topics. The first one is why database migration to a cloud. Second one is database migration journey to a cloud, and then migration types, migration tools, and then DMS, SCT, and some of the best practices. Right, the highly critical why. Why are you doing it? Right? Why database migration to a cloud? Usually, there are a whole list of ideas and reasons why you may want to migrate to a cloud. Usually, the top ones that we have identified in the past throughout all the clients that we support revolving around modernization. Right? You want to upgrade to a more advanced system with better technologies, making your operations more efficient and up to date. The second one also very critical. Right? You may want to consider switching database solutions. Yes, choose from one database solution and migrate to a different one that best suits your needs, giving you more flexibility in managing the data. The third one's cost saving, right? Everyone's looking to save money, right? With cloud migration, you can actually save money because you will no longer need to spend money on maintaining your own database infrastructure. You will pay for what you use, and cloud providers often offer scalable pricing models. And the next one is for the enhanced security and compliance. Right? Cloud providers usually have very strong security measures in place to protect your data, and they maintain compliance certifications to ensure that you adhere to the regulations that are required. And the last one we notice is the HADR. You can actually increase the HADR, the high availability and disaster recovery. Cloud databases have multiple data centers in different locations. They ensure that if one center experiences an outage, the others will still provide access to your data. This results in better reliability and minimizing the risk of losing access to your database in case of a disaster. Okay. Database migration journey to a cloud. Okay. We identify there are usually 7 critical steps. These require to perform in sequence. Right? I'm going to do them very quickly here. The first one to plan, right? Need to know your requirements and also make a decision on the cloud provider. Next, you need to analyze your current database environment and determine its complexity and also very critically compatibility with the cloud, if they're compatible or not. In the next one, you will actually modify or reformat your data to be comparable with the chosen cloud database solution. Okay, and after that, you will actually migrate. That's when you transfer your data from your on-premises databases to the cloud. After migration, you will test the new cloud database to ensure everything works as expected. And once you do that, once you confirm everything works well, you're going to do a cutover. That's where you switch using your old on-premise databases to the new cloud database. Finally, you will continually to monitor and fine-tune your databases, your cloud databases, to ensure it runs efficiently and also meets your needs. There are usually 2 general types of migrations. The first one's homogeneous, second one's heterogeneous. With homogeneous, that's when you are keeping the same platform, but just change the environment. Since everything's within the same platform, compatibility issues are minimal, making the migration process simpler and less complex. With heterogeneous migrations, you are changing both platform and the environment of your database. The process can lead to modernizing the database, but it presents some compatibility challenges because two platforms are different. The migration process will be more complex and might require additional steps to ensure smooth transition. You have three different migration tools to help you migrate a database over to a cloud. The first one, native tools, right? They are designed to specifically for database platforms you are working with right now and help migrate your data within the same platform or to a comparable platform. Since they are made by the database provider, they tend to work really well for migration within the same platform family. Okay. The second one is database migration services, DMS. DMS is specialized service that helps you migrate your data from one database platform to another, handling the process for you. DMS can be used for both homogeneous and heterogeneous migrations and automates the process to make it easier and more efficient. The next one is schema conversion to SCT. When you're migrating a database to a different platform, you will need to change the schema, for example, the structure of your databases to make it comparable. The schema conversion tool helps you convert schema from one database platform to another, addressing compatibility issues during heterogeneous migrations. In the next two slides, we're going to further review DMS and SCT. As discussed earlier, so DMS supports both homogeneous and also heterogeneous migrations. This flexibility means that DMS can handle various moving scenarios for your data. One of the key advantages of DMS is that it minimizes downtime, even offers zero downtime during migration process. Like this means that while your data is being moved, your application can continue to run smoothly with little to no interruptions. Like DMS works with a variety of source and target databases, including relational, NoSQL, and data warehouses. This broad compatibility makes a versatile option for your database migration needs. And it also can help you reduce costs, right? You can go as low as like $3 per terabyte. Okay? Definitely really appealing. The next one is the schema conversion tool, right? It automates the schema conversion as we discussed earlier, right? With SCT, you will receive a detailed assessment report highlighting conversion challenges with color code systems. Green, that means easy, similar traffic light. Green's easy, right, to go. Okay, greys that cannot be converted, well, objects that cannot be converted. Orange is that going to require some effort. Red is some warning, right? It's going to be very complicated. Significant manual work will be required to convert. Okay, right. Just want to highlight that SCT also leverages a WQF, workload qualification framework, right, to make assessment, and it's a comparability checker. Some of the best practices, we do have a long list. However, the three of them that I want to highlight is that definitely the last three, right? Perform thorough testing, right? You definitely want to test, make sure everything, identify the fixes and issues before you migrate. And even after you migrate, you need to continue to monitor and optimize. And the last one, really critical, right? We definitely want to suggest and ask you to consider partnering with an experienced managed service provider with a proven track record in database migrations. They can provide expert guidance and support, making your migration experience smoother and more successful. Right? Definitely, Datavail is one of the top and big companies that's out there can help and assist you on that. With that, okay, thank you. Back to you, Stephen.
Thank you very much, JP. Okay, I'm excited to introduce our final speaker for today. We have James McClymans, VP of Cloud Operations at Actian. Welcome to the broadcast, James.
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining today. My focus today will be on how you can optimize your cloud potential by maximizing the benefits of innovative tools and strategies and technology. This will help your organization fully leverage the advantages of cloud computing. We'll start today with an introduction to cloud computing. We'll discuss its different types and deployment models. We'll cover the key benefits of cloud adoption. Following that, we'll look into innovative tools, strategies, and technologies that will help maximize their cloud potential. And afterwards, we'll discuss essential cloud optimization best practices. And then finally, we'll wrap up the presentation, take any questions. Cloud computing refers to the on-demand delivery of computing resources over the internet. These resources include storage, databases, software applications. There are three main types of cloud computing models: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. In addition, there are four deployment models, which are public, private, hybrid, and multi-cloud. Each model has its own unique advantage depending on your organization's specific needs. Cloud adoption offers a range of benefits for organizations. These include scalability, allowing your organization to grow and adapt to changing demands, cost efficiency, as you only pay for what resources you consume, flexibility and agility, which help you quickly respond to new opportunities, challenges, improved security, since cloud providers invest heavily in protecting their infrastructure, enhanced collaboration, as team members can easily access and work on shared files from anywhere in the world. And finally, business continuity, as cloud-based solutions minimize downtime and obviously data loss and risk. To get the most out of cloud computing, it is essential to utilize innovative tools, strategies, and technologies. These include cloud management platforms, which help manage and optimize cloud resources, like infrastructure as code, a method for managing infrastructure through code and automation, containers, organization or orchestration, which streamline application deployment and management, microservices architecture, which is a design approach that breaks applications into small independent services, serverless computing, which enables you to run applications without managing servers, and emerging technologies like edge computing, quantum computing, and blockchain as a service. Cloud optimization best practices. To optimize your cloud potential, it's crucial to implement best practices. These include right-sizing resources, ensuring you allocate appropriate amount of resources to meet your needs, cost monitoring and control, which is keeping track of expenses to avoid budget overruns, automated scaling, which is allowing your infrastructure to adapt to workload changes, performance monitoring, to identify and address any performance bottlenecks, and ensuring security and compliance. Next, I want to talk about a little bit of a strategy from a cloud operations perspective. This is basically what DevOps versus site reliability versus platform engineering are basically three roles within the cloud operation realm: software development and IT operations that have merged to help organizations deliver innovative products and services at ever increasing pace. DevOps is a methodology that combines software development and IT operations to improve the speed and quality of software delivery. It focuses on creating a more streamlined and efficient software development process that allows your organization to deliver high quality software at scale. Site reliability engineering focuses on maintaining the reliability and availability of your platform, your website, your software as a service. SREs use automation, monitoring, and proactive testing to identify and address potential issues before they become critical. And then the last strategy is platform engineering, which is a role that focuses on creating and maintaining tools, your platform, that support the software development process. Platform engineers design and implement development environments, build and deploy pipelines and other tools that make it easier for deployment teams to create, test, and deploy software more efficiently. While those roles have some key differences, they are all focused on creating more efficient and effective software development processes. They all require a deep understanding of monitoring software development and operational practices. And by combining software development, cloud operations, IT roles, this will help your organization to deliver a more high quality software at scale while maintaining reliability and availability. In conclusion, leveraging innovative tools, strategies, and technology is crucial to maximizing the potential of cloud computing. It is essential to keep up with emerging technologies and continuously improve your cloud implementation. Back to you, Stephen.
Thank you very much, James. Okay, well, we're going to dive into questions from our viewers. Alberto, the first question is for you. Could you clarify how you succeeded in obtaining good database performance from the object storage service?
Sure. So this is at the basis of the technology that we offer at Delphix. Basically, the software engineers that work for us here at Delphix are the software engineers that created basically the ZFS file system. Could be getting down into much of a technicality, but what they did is they found a way to create a cache technology that is basically implemented at the block storage level, which is the typical storage where you run databases. But we don't cache the entire database. The entire database and all of the subsequent copies you need are sitting in object storage, which is what gives you the savings. What we cache are only little blocks or little pieces of that database, which are the ones that the application is requesting from a writing or reading perspective. So everything happens in the background, and that is how we succeed in providing the same performance while having the bigger part of your database sitting in object storage. That's what basically provides performance and savings.
Understood. Thanks for clarifying, Alberto. Jeff, our next question is for you. Can you provide more details on infrastructure as code and how it can help improve our cloud management?
And in terms of, I guess philosophically, there's kind of two areas to go with this. One is supporting, let's say, a autonomous operator, Kubernetes-based design or architecture, so that you can control everything in an automated way using CNCF-based technologies. Or the other one, the opposite is depend on a vendor like myself to manage the entirety of the system and make sure that things are operating correctly. So and Couchbase generally supports the latter, but in fact, we actually support both. We do have a manage yourself kinds of deployment capabilities, whether it's you install the system directly by yourself, or you use our CNCF based product set to indeed manage everything as a Kubernetes powered code based environment. So I can do both. But I think our customers are finding just better value, ease of complexity, and ease of responsibility when they go with Couchbase Capella.
Understood, Jeff. James, would you like to weigh in on that question as well about infrastructure as code?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Just want to make sure. So yeah, infrastructure as code is a good way to managing and provisioning your infrastructure. The approach helps you improve your cloud management by ensuring consistency, reducing manual or human errors. It also helps with enabling version control and making your updates more efficient. The tools that I like to use are Terraform, Harness, and some of the default tools that might be in the different cloud providers like Azure Resource Manager or Azure DevOps.
Got it. Thanks, James. Okay, JP, our next question is for you. How do I ensure data security during and after the migration process?
Sure, right. So data security is absolutely a top priority and concern for many of our clients, for everyone in general, generally speaking, right? Definitely, we would suggest that use encryption, both in transit and also at rest during the migration process, right? Of course, configure the appropriate security settings, access controls, and network isolation for your new cloud-based database, just to ensure compliance and make sure they follow the regulations, adhere to regulations and best practices. The key is to encrypt, right? Use encryption.
Understood. Thanks, JP. Okay, Alberto, we're going to circle back to you. The question is, you mentioned you can fully automate any database data masking process so that any production data arrives in non-production fully masked. How do users know if they have masked data or not in the database shared with them?
That's an interesting one. So it's up to you as an organization, meaning many of our large enterprise customers, they don't want end users to know. So that could be a DBA or an application owner. What you do, the first thing, you get a copy of your database in Delphix. They mask the data based on the profiling requirements of whomever will use the data. It can be a different type of masking for different people. And then they put this database available for the developer or the tester to use. So they self-serve basically these copies instantly. And so if some of our organizations do tell everybody that, hey, you can be a peace of mind because the database you're getting is complete, is integral to what you need for your application, and is masked. So if you make a mistake, if you lose it, if you try to sell it, if it gets stolen, if you get attacked with ransomware, that's okay, no pressure. But some other organizations believe that could be also a social networking type of risk, so they don't share. And they just share out of production all of the data fully masked, which again is fully workable and usable for the same intent or purposes that the end users will need. And they don't know that is masked. So, yeah, it's up to the data owner.
Understood. Thanks, Alberto.
Yeah.
Jeff, our next question is for you. How can we maintain compliance with industry-specific regulations when using cloud services? Obviously, always a big topic with cloud.
Well, I think what's interesting about that is, it's really a matter of time, right? And this is certainly what we found. We are HIPAA compliant, right? So we've gone through all of the exercises to make sure that we take care of health information. We are SOC 2 Type 2 compliant, right? So all of the operational controls that are expected out of a cloud vendor are taken care of. And the way that particular regulation is driven is through basically just your accounting firm or your auditor observing your behaviors and observing your practices, and so that takes time. And the same holds true with PII, right? For PII PCI for financial services, which is one of the exercises we're underway doing. So it's really just a continuous process from our standpoint of making sure that we're flagging every particular aspect of the regulation. The challenge, of course, is it's not only just are there things that my database ends up doing to make sure that everything is secure, but it's also somewhat dependent on my cloud provider, somewhat dependent on all of my business practices that we do as a data operator. But yeah, I think the primary thing is it takes time, and we're working our way up that particular stack. But I think in terms of our ability to come to market as quickly as anyone else, I don't know anyone who's hit these marks as quickly as we have with Capella. But yeah, it's really a function of we know what the regulations are, we know who the auditors are, and just knocking down their list.
Got it. James, would you like to weigh in on that as well? Maintaining compliance with industry-specific regulations in the cloud.
Sure. Using cloud services, basically you need to understand what your compliance requirements are going to be. Selecting a cloud provider that meets those requirements, whether it's implementing necessary security, any governance measures, and then always working closely with your cloud provider, maybe your organization's legal and compliance teams to ensure that your cloud adheres to your relevant regulations. Kind of like what Jeff was talking about with PCI and HIPAA and all those other ones.
Got it. JP, question for you. How can I monitor and optimize my migrated database in the cloud?
Oh, sure. Right. So the question is like, how can you monitor and optimize your migrated database in the cloud? Okay. Definitely, we suggest leverage your cloud-specific monitoring tools and services. For example, CloudWatch, that's from AWS, right? Azure Monitor, right? That's for Azure, and Google Cloud Monitoring, just to gain insights into your database performance, right? And also continuously optimize your database by implementing cloud-native features such as auto-scaling, automated backups, and performance tuning. I just wanted to highlight that, like, in addition to that, I would definitely suggest to have experts, like DBA experts, to do this and help assist your team with these the tasks such as auto scaling, like setting up correctly, and also configuring these automated backups and optimize performance. In addition, with Datavail, we do have our own proprietary monitoring system. Right, we do have checkbooks to monitor these cloud databases, and you'll be able to alert us and also collaborate with your team, notify you on what type of performance problem you may be having, and definitely assist in resolving those performance problems as well.
Understood. Well, we're almost at the top of the hour, but one more question from me to all of you. And we'll start with Alberto. If there's one thing you'd really like our audience today to walk away keeping in mind, what would that be? Alberto, you go first.
I think that the one thing is that, migrating to the cloud definitely can be achieved, in both maintaining or achieving the scalability, flexibility, and reliability that you're looking, while controlling costs. There are many tools out there. Delphix is just not the only one. And just, it takes a little bit of research and help from us vendors, but it's definitely achievable.
Understood. Jeff, you're next.
Yeah, I think one of the big drivers for organizations right now is their cloud bill and the overall managing your costs. And as we started out, the notion of care about price performance, care about versatility, and care about your overall TCO. I think those are the key things to be looking for. And but you certainly want to do the move, right? It's a case of you can't stay where you are, but you can be deliberate about how you move into the cloud. And I would just keep your eye on that particular price performance ball.
Absolutely. JP, your thoughts. One thing you'd like our audience to keep in mind, today.
Yes, one thing I would suggest our audience to keep in mind is migration to the cloud is a rather interesting and complex topic, right, and a subject. So definitely in these cases, I would suggest to collaborate and partner with a very experienced MSP, managed service provider. Right, sure enough, you are top experts in one area. However, with an MSP, we are the ones do this on a daily basis. We have thousands of customers in terms of migrations. Like having a proven track record on database migrations, and definitely like our experts can provide some guidance and support for your team to make sure everything goes smoothly and more successfully.
Understood. And last but not least, James, if there's one thing you'd really like our audience to walk away keeping in mind.
I would think the one strategy I would say is have a plan. Have your whole process of how you're going to migrate to the cloud. I can't emphasize that being the most important thing. I've done many of them, and having a plan is probably your best solution.
Absolutely. I think those are wise words. Well, that is all the time we have for questions today. If we didn't get to yours, our apologies. But as I mentioned earlier, you will receive an email response. We're going to share these with the speakers. I would like to give a huge thank you to our speakers today for coming on board and sharing their insights and expertise. Once again, Alberto Sigismondi, Lead Product Manager, Continuous Data Platform at Delphix. Jeff Morris, Vice President, Product and Solutions Marketing at Couchbase. JP Chen, Senior Director and Global Practice Lead, SQL Server Services at Datavail. And James McClymans, VP of Cloud Operations at Actian. So if you in our audience today would like to review this presentation or send it over to a colleague, you can use the same exact URL that you used for today's live event. It will be archived, and you will receive an email notification from us once the recording is up on dbta.com to check out. Also, as I mentioned earlier, just for participating in today's event, you could win this $100 Amazon gift card. The winner will be announced on May 31st. We'll reach out to you via email and let you know if you're the lucky viewer. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and we hope to see you again soon.